Doug, how's it going? Grab a seat, here's some water.
It's going good. How are you?
I am fan-diddly-tastic.
Diddly?
Diddly,
Don't
yeah.
use that language.
Alright, my apologies. Please tell the pretty people about yourself.
Well, pretty people, I am Doug Walker. I have a website called thatguywiththeglasses.com, and I do a bunch of reviews and a bunch of characters and comedy. We best known as Nostalgia Critic, but I also do shows like Bum Reviews and Video Game Confessions and Ask That Guy with the Glasses. And we also have a bunch of producers that do a whole bunch of other reviews and sketches and so forth, and we have them make material on the site. And I've just been making an ass of myself for about 7 years.
Awesome, the floor is open for questions. Right there.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Sarah from morepower.com. And I was wondering if there's ever, I know you do the Nostalgia Critic, has there ever been any episode that's been particularly difficult to film for production reasons or just general mayhem happening around at the time?
The Nostalgia Critics, I mean, recently a lot more effort's been put into them because I have 2 weeks on them now, so I can sort of expand and have more effects and creative ideas. But in terms of difficulty, not too bad. I mean, there's definitely been late nights, but I kind of got a lot of energy, and a lot of the actors we work with have a lot of energy, so it's not that bad. The anniversaries were much tougher, like the Kick-Assia, Suburban Nights, and To Boldly Flee, because there's like, I think the most I work with actors, like the number is like maybe 5 in a room or something like that. With those, it's like over 20 every day. And it's tough when you're trying to keep everybody happy, but you gotta shoot a movie too, and it's very difficult, and it kind of kicked everybody's asses, including myself. But I think it turned out some really cool products. You.
Oh,
I choose
sorry,
you. I don't know how this works.
I choose you. Go right ahead.
You choose me. I choose you.
Hi, Colin from Dynamic Fan. I was wondering, since I imagine like when you first started, that either you and someone else did all the work, but since you have more people on board this now, do you still do like editing portions, or does someone else handle that?
For Nostalgia Critic, it's still me doing all the editing. The writing very early on when I first started was myself, and then my brother started to get into the writing process, and finally it's like, oh, why don't you just be another writer? You know, you're really funny and good at this. And unless it's a crossover, yeah, it's always kind of been the two of us. The only other thing we've really added is more actors, because I think there's only, as handsome as it is, there's only so long you can look at this face. There's only so long I can, play a bearded woman and stuff like that. So it's like, so I'm like, okay, yeah, let's get a little bit more diversity in here. But yeah, it's still mainly us because that seems to be what works best. The only other major change, like I said, is that we allow more time. And even if, like before, even if the productions weren't always that big, it's like I needed at least one more day to write. Because I found that really did make a difference. Because if there's a joke that's just not funny enough before, I just have to be like, well, I just have to go with the one that goes in my head, deadline, and just throw it in there. But now it's like I can, take a while, get up, walk around, maybe jog or something, and then just like, I got it, and run back and put the joke down. So yeah, it's still kept pretty small, but because there's more time, I think we can definitely expand on what we can do with them. Next one? Yeah.
Hi, DJ Keiko from Cosplay NYC. My question is, how does it feel to see people cosplaying as Nostalgia Critic at cons that you go to?
It's surreal because the weirdest thing is that, okay, the NC outfit is not that hard to put together. You find a suit coat, a red tie, a white shirt, and a hat. It's not too difficult. It's strange, like when I was putting the bum character together, I was just sort of looking around the house. I had this old trench coat that my grandfather had and like this old black wig. I'm like, oh, and here's this bear's hat. Okay, I guess that'll do. And now like when people want to cosplay, it's like they try really hard to find the exact same clothing. Like, I hope this is the right color. I hope this is the right hat. And it's like, it was just stuff I happened to have lying around, and there was like so little thought put into it. It's just so funny to see people now try to replicate that as hard as possible. Same thing with Ask That Guy. That was just a friend's robe, and now people are trying to find the exact same color robe. So yeah, it's a little surreal, but it's still so flattering. I mean, it's just so cool to think like, oh wow, like I'm one of the people they try to dress up as, that you see at conventions. And that is one of the reasons I knew I needed kind of an outfit going in, because I knew that's a very important part of the identity. I'm definitely one of those people where I think it's important if you see the silhouette of someone or a character, you can tell who it is right away. And so I think that was always sort of what I was looking for with the NC, that, you know, when you see the hat, the coat, the ties, that you would just get who it is immediately. But no, it's really cool. It's really flattering. Yeah.
Josh Wildtabelli from WCCA TV. I know in the Christmas episode you had one of the Christmas episodes, you had your parents in your video. And I know that you've announced that you have, you got married like 2 years ago or something.
Yeah.
Has your wife ever been in any of your videos?
She's done a voice once in a while. We both know it's probably not best for her to do this kind of stuff because she's a social worker, and it's not always best to have, like, you know, oh, wait a minute, you're on Nostalgia. Wait, you have a show that reaches thousands of people, and what, you know? So, but at the same time, once in a while, she'll get in a mood where she's something like Lucille Ball, like, I want to be in the show, you know, kind of that thing. So she's done 2 voices. She's done, in one of the, I think I did only 3 episodes of this. It's called, like, the cartoon show, and she did a voice on there. I think she was Paula Abdul. And then in the Ask That Guy where he marries the GPS, she's the voice of the GPS. So that she is in 2 of them, and I think in To Boldly Flee she's also when Nell and Lisa as the scientists. One is supposed to slap me, but we didn't get a good shot of it, so then she had to slap me in that shot. So she liked doing that one. Yeah.
Troy Ackerman, BW Media Spotlight, but I also contribute to a site called Reviewers Unknown, which is one of the, so it's not only have you inspired other interviewers, but your site has inspired other websites.
Cool.
I know even Lindsay Ellis has started her own site recently,
Yeah.
Shane Apocalypse. What do you think about the fact that the site has inspired other sites, other reviewer collectives?
Oh, it's cool. I mean, and that stuff is definitely a result of Mike Machado, the CEO of Channel Awesome, because I have no business mind, like, at all. I'm good at making videos. I'm good at ideas and being creative with, like, you know, in front of the camera and stories and characters. But I have no business mind at all. So that was the whole thing. Really was his idea to make it a site to get other producers involved, to bring them in and sort of make this community. Because my business mind is so bad, it wouldn't even think to go there. I mean, I'd probably just still be on YouTube, still trying to figure out how to make money on this at all. But he put the business plan together, so it's great. It's great that not only has he found a way to have me do this for a living, but to also allow other people to come on in and be a part of it and inspire others. So no, it's the coolest thing. I mean, this all just started as a hobby, so it's so awesome that other people are like, hey, I want to do something very, very similar. So I love it. The others. Yeah.
Hi, Devin Kopek from antifanboy.com. Obviously, Nostalgia Critic reviews kind of movies from your childhood. But, you know, there's only so many movies. So, you know, and as a result, you've obviously had to kind of maybe go further and further. Like
One step beyond.
Yeah, one step beyond. But are there any kind of, like, movies, like, do you have some sort of system where, like, I can't do anything, you know, 04 and beyond or anything like that in terms of, like, what movies, you know, the NC would kind of review or critique?
There's very few limitations now. I mean, it is nice that we've opened it up. And honestly, a lot of the newer stuff that I have reviewed still has some tie to nostalgia, like Man of Steel and stuff like that. You know, it's still something connecting to, you know, what we grew up with. But no, there's just this. There's just a sense of, like you said, you're going to run out of nostalgia eventually. I think people are going to kind of get bored, but we do want to keep going back to it as well. So I think what we try to do is we try to do something new and then something old, and sort of the same with the style. Like, we'll do something that's really big and grand and has a story, and then we'll do one that's kind of more traditional, where it's more talking, it's just me in front of the wall and such. And the newer stuff does the best. I mean, that's the one that has, like, on YouTube, it has like over 1 million views and stuff. We got a couple of those. But I think it's still good to balance it out, you know, have something that's a little bit more traditional and low key, because I think if you make them all really big and really grand, they won't be that anymore. You'll just kind of get tired of them. So I think it's good to kind of balance it out. But yeah, in terms of like a cutoff date, we kind of just said, screw it, we'll do whatever. Genres we've gotten, we've cracked down a touch on. I think when I did The Cell, you know, people liked it, but they were kind of like, okay, let's not see any more like that though, you know, because it was just so gritty and so intense, and they're like, why don't you let Brad Jones handle that, you know? So yeah, I mean, exploitative stuff like that, you know, or sort of shock values that even if it's bad, it's sort of like we should probably stay a little bit away from because we know we want people to come here and have fun and be kind of lighthearted, where someone like Cinema Snob or Phalus or something can look at that stuff and it's like, that's kind of why you're here. You're here to see these really dark, gritty things that really fail and to be made fun of them to sort of suck out that, you know, nastiness it's trying to shove on you. But yeah, that's kind of their shtick and you're used to it, and I think with mine we don't do it as much, so we stay a little far away from that, but if there's one that's just so stupid that we can get a lot of material out, we'll probably still do it.
We have time for one more question, sorry.
One I did not get first. Okay, I'll do it, yeah.
So I know that you stopped doing the anniversary videos because they've gotten really, really big and have so many producers on the site now, and have moved on to some more like anthology, collaboration, big projects. So are you guys working on one now for this year, and do you plan maybe on doing an anniversary one like you used to maybe for like the big 10-year anniversary?
This year we're definitely not doing one because we're trying to get our shows off the ground. We've had a lot of delays and such. And on top of that, nostalgia critics do take longer and there's more effort that goes into them. So we kind of figured, all right, so we're getting kind of these bigger productions to people, so you know it's not that bad. We'll definitely do another one at some point because there definitely are ideas that like have kind of been popping up in our head, but it's, you know, after the last 5, I mean, and they just got bigger and bigger and harder, we do sort of go, okay, if we know going in that this is probably going to be kind of a disaster, it's like, let's not do it, you know. So I'd much rather wait until we get sort of like the other shows going and we have a little bit more of a rhythm and a solid idea we know we want to do. I think we just definitely needed a break this year. My guess would be there'll be one next year. I mean, I don't think we have to wait for the 10. But I said, no promises on that, but chances are there'll probably be one starting. If not next year, certainly the year after that.
Awesome. Everyone, Doug Walker.
Thank you.
Brief break. Be right back.